The following professional wrestling exhibition requires discretionary viewer participation. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen of our worldwide viewing audience. We are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this evening for RWL Rage. Good evening and welcome to you. My name's Don Hickson, and I'm joined by Christy Ogilvy and Myron Schimmelman and our special guest tonight, RWL's General Manager of Snarl, Hangman Tex Lynch, who will be here managing the Texas Hangman in their tag team match this evening against the Canadian Cartel, Vic LaRue and Golden Al Barnett. Welcome aboard, Tex. Nice to see you again. It was only last week at Coliseum Games.
Yeah, and Coliseum Games was awesome. Howdy, folks. How's everybody doing tonight? Great lineup tonight here on Rage, and Don, Myron, and Christy will take you through it all. I'm going to be hanging out for a little while. Liberty Bell Danielle Heathcote also in the house. She's going to be in a 6-woman tag a little bit later, so stick around. It is going to be a terrific lineup tonight.
Tonight's edition of RWL Rage begins with ladies competition. Maurice Ouellette, set to face Sister Golden Hair of the MJ Parentino Group, accompanied by Brent and Quinn Stewart, the Northbridge Quake.
Good evening. Welcome to RWL Rage. Our first match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle first, from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Maurice Ouellette.
You know, guys, I looked it up in the book, and I didn't see nowhere where Maurice and Sister Golden Hair have met yet, so this is a first-time thing. Now, Sister Golden Hair, she's had her share of problems with people like Mickey James, and A.J. Lee, and the like, but this is the first time with Maurice Ouellette. Looking forward to seeing what happens here. She definitely could use a win, though. It's been kind of rough for her.
She is still trying to shrug off the loss to Taylor Holly Combs at Snarl Saturday night.
And her opponent from the Ferrantino Group, along with Brenton Quinn Stewart from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Sister Golden Hair.
The lady quite literally beginning from nothing as a bodyguard to American Powers, and when that didn't pan out, everyone figured she would be leaving, but MJ Ferrantino refused to let her go, seeing potential as a singles competitor, and has now been paired up with Brenton Quinn Stewart, the Northbridge. As off, she's mine. I like that coat. I also like Sister Golden Hair's 60s mod sort of look. Sort of a London 1965 kind of thing.
Okay, Boomer. Yeah, she really does have that going. Whoa, you envious holes. Man, these two. Put them together, give them a couple of jackets, and they just go crazy. Brent and Quinn Stewart, just a little bit on the wacky side. I guess that's what she sees in him. But it's definitely a good start to tonight's card.
I think it will be. Sister Golden Hair, looking primed here as Willie Johnson sounds the bell. They come center ring. They lock up collar and elbow. Maurice Ouellette pushing Sister Golden Hair into the corner. Right by Brenton Quinn Stewart. Willie Johnson disengaging the two ladies. They lock up again. Maurice Ouellette with Sister Golden Hair in the corner. Willie Johnson insists. Oh! A cheap shot from Maurice. Sister Golden Hair certainly not going to appreciate that. A headlock. Maurice shoves her towards the ropes, misses with the elbow. Sister Golden Hair stops herself. Ooh, a chop across the chest. Maurice stops her cold with a dragon screw. Out to the floor goes Sister Golden Hair. Maurice Ouellette out there with her. A fireman's carry from SGH, along with BQS at ringside for RWL. Whole lot of acronyms going on here. Maurice takes down Sister Goldenhair with a clothesline, a kick to the back. Sister Goldenhair catches a spin kick. Goldenhair puts on the brakes. An elbow to the leg of Maurice. Maurice tossed towards the ring steps, but not close enough. Sister Goldenhair takes herself back inside, takes herself back outside again. And again, Maurice Ouellette, she connected with the steps that time. Sister Goldenhair pretty pleased with herself. Maurice puts on the brakes. Another dragon screw on the outside. The referee counting both ladies. Sister Goldenhair counters Maurice and delivers a rising knee. Maurice drives the knee into the head of Sister Goldenhair. And now Maurice working the crowd too, swinging a miss with the kick. But Maurice connects with an elbow to the face of Goldenhair. Goldenhair goes around, counters, a shot to the back of the head. Maurice likewise counters with a kick of the leg. Goldenhair counters. Looks like a conga line. Maurice finally pitched towards the barricades by Goldenhair, who makes her own way back inside the ring. Maurice Ouellette looking a little bit spent as Goldenhair returns to the outside and is now driven into the ring steps herself by Maurice. Now Maurice again taking Sister Goldenhair around the horn on the outside, allowing the referee to engage in the count. Maurice with a backbreaker to Sister Goldenhair. SGH rounded up by Maurice, rolled back inside the ring. Maurice catches a nasty kick, goes behind, and a nice suplex from Goldenhair. Woohoo! She looks provoked. Maurice with a forearm. Sister Goldenhair counters. Maurice counters. An elbow takes Goldenhair down to the mat just about center ring. Maurice again countering with another forearm. A dragon sleeper from Maurice and a knee to the head of Sister Goldenhair. They lock up, they tussle. Goldenhair shoves her back. Up over the shoulder goes Maurice Ouellette and hung up on the top rope. And quickly, right back on her, takes Sister Goldenhair down. Brenton Quinn Stewart looking on. Quite the bond between that couple. Working in the MJ Ferrantino group, Maurice Ouellette counters a kick right to the point of the jaw. Down goes Goldenhair, a pin, 1 and almost a 2. Maurice Ouellette now stalking Sister Goldenhair, perhaps sensing the end could be near. Goldenhair quickly counters, takes her down to the mat. Nicely done. Not sure if she was playing possum or not, but it worked. Goldenhair outside after Maurice back inside the ring. Sister Goldenhair gathers Maurice to a standing position. Maurice counters, whips Goldenhair out onto the apron. And now, brings her in the hard way. Goldenhair putting on the brakes, counters with another dragon screw. Sister Goldenhair gathers up Maurice. Maurice counters the Irish whip, catches an elbow, delivers a punch. Goldenhair counters with an arm drag. There's a kick to the midsection, and look at this, would ya? A pedigree. Well, now, that's one we don't see out of Sister Goldenhair every day. But Maurice Ouellette caught it, all of it, and she is out. Here's a pin. 1, 2, 3. You could have counted the 3,000. Sister Goldenhair picking up a win over Maurice Ouellette.
The time was 5 minutes and 28 seconds, and your winner, Sister Goldenhair.
That Ferrantino's pretty wise for a whiz kid. He knew exactly what he was doing, sending Goldenhair back out there right away. I think he knew, who knows how, that she would win against Maurice if she just went out and tried it one more time.
Hey, the old adage, if at first you don't succeed, right? Well, apparently, His wife, the Sister Golden Hair. Now she and BQ Stewart can celebrate tonight.
Well, that's how it looks to me. Sister Goldenhair picking up a much-needed win. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just scraping the surface. We'll be back with more RWL Rage right on the other side of the break. Up next, an interesting undercard matchup involving the rarely seen Tyler Bate, set to lock it up one-on-one against Rick Boogs.
Rick Boogs, well, alright. My favorite 80s throwback. Hey, what's with you, Christy? You're always so chipper, but you're extra happy tonight. What the heck is going on with you?
I'm excited as a kid at Christmas Myron, but I know you already heard. Next after tonight's Rage is going to be the First Lady's night card of the year, and you guys get the night off. It's going to be me and my old broadcast mate, Megan Mitchell, together again, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Boy, you two used to get into such trouble back in the Facebook days.
This next match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Dudley, England, weighing 175 pounds, Tyler Bate.
I had been wondering why Christy looked so exuberant. I figured she was hanging out in your pickup truck outside, Tex.
No, that was not me. She's happy all by herself. She didn't need my help. Tyler Bate, 175 pounds. I've seen some cruiserweights, but that's some of the cruiserweighting I've ever seen. 175 pounds against Rick Boogs, who clocks in at about 234. Yeah, he's got about an even break. What is it, Myron, his birthday? No, I just thought, Tyler Bates back. He needed an opponent. Rick Boogs was available. And, well, if he should happen to win, well, happy birthday.
His opponent from Columbus, Ohio, weighing 234 pounds. Here's Rick Boogs.
Well, Rick Boogs, back with us again. His last matchup ended in another loss, but annoyed but undaunted Rick Boogs returns tonight, and indeed he may have an edge against Tyler Bate in his size, his weight, and his wrestling ability.
I really do think you did him a favor, Myron. I'm kind of hoping I did. It would be nice to see Rick Boogs pick up a win. I really do think that if Rick Boogs had been at this age and in this condition sometime around, say, 1987-88, he would have been a top drawer star. And he may still be a top drawer star in RWL someday. And we'll see how he does tonight against Tyler Bate in this matchup.
And so, gentlemen and Christy, one we don't see every day, Rick Boogs. Certainly enthusiastic as Charles Lucero sounds the bell. Tyler Bate charges. There's a Hurricane Rana taking Rick Boogs down to the canvas at once. There's a kick to the side. Tyler Bates quickly rounds up Rick Boogs. There's an arm snap. There's a stomp to the back. Tyler Bate, very aggressive in the early goings here. A rear chin lock on Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs quickly counters back up to a standing position. A kick. Whoa, whoa, whoa. A series of machine gun shots to the midsection. That'll ruin your launch. Whoa, whoa. Elbow right across the chest from Rick Boogs, who has suddenly turned this one around. Rick Boogs all the way up on the top turnbuckle. Tyler Bate on the outside, and whoa, a quick counter from Tyler Bate. A drop kick quickly evaded by Rick Boogs. A kick to the midsection. Not so quickly evaded. Tyler Bate looking pretty confident here as he rolls Rick Boogs back inside the ring. Boogs back up to a standing position. Hard right turns Tyler Bate around. He goes behind on him. Atomic drop right to the keister. And whoa, Rick Boogs rounds him up front cradle and a fall-away slam.
Oh, damn. Rick Boogs is lit up, ain't he?
He most certainly is. Tyler Bate countering, trying to turn things around quickly. Rick Boogs gathers him up over the shoulder, hangs him up and down to the canvas goes Tyler Bate. Rick Boogs, a hard right, a chop across the chest. Another shot to the midsection. He is working the midsection of Tyler Bate. And he is going to be very unhappy tomorrow morning, I'm sure. Tyler Bate quickly counters back up to his feet. A hard right to the back of the head of Rick Boogs. A clubbing overhand right puts him down on the canvas. Rick Boogs looks like he might be out. There's a stomp to the knee. Tyler Bate driving all of his weight into the lower back of Rick Boogs. Oh, a lot of back and forth in this one so far. Tyler Bate currently in control of Rick Boogs. But Rick Boogs showing those occasional flashes of brilliance. And he's shown them tonight, but he is in trouble now. Moonsault from Tyler Bate with a pin one. But only just about a one. Rick Boogs back to a standing position. Tyler Bate completely missing the mark with that one.
Nobody home.
Enziguri from Tyler Bate to Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs catches another lower back attack. An elbow to the face from Rick Boogs. A running shoulder tackle takes Tyler Bate down to the canvas. And again, Rick Boogs countering the attack of Tyler Bate. Whoa! Down he went with that double axe handle. He rolls to the outside looking for a reset. He may not get one. Tyler Bate back inside the ring. Rebounds off the ropes, connects with the elbow that time. Down went Rick Boogs. Clubbing overhand right from Tyler Bate. Up on the middle rope. Not even committing a move. He's just showboating. And Rick Boogs is motionless. Rick Boogs catches an arm snap from Tyler Bate. Another moonsault. And Rick Boogs looks like he is losing the battle here. Here's a kick to the head from Rick Boogs. Back up to a standing position. Clubbing overhand right to Tyler Bate. A right, a left, another right. Puts Bate in the corner. Kick to the midsection. Down he goes. Rick Boogs rounds him up by the ankles. Alley-oop assist out of the corner. And a quick cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. But no. Tyler Bate getting the left shoulder up. Rick Boogs starts from scratch with an elbow across the chest. Rounds up Tyler Bate, up over the shoulder, but Tyler Bate counters it into an inverted DDT. They lock up. Boogs gets a hold of Tyler Bate, whips him to the corner, charges. Tyler Bate counters with an elbow. He came out of that corner explosively. There's an elbow from Rick Boogs. He locks up Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate goes behind, counters, goes behind, rear waist lock, shot to the back of Rick Boogs. And again, Tyler Bate off the middle rope and a kick to the top of the head of Rick Boogs. Both men laid out at the present time. What a matchup it has been so far.
Man, Rick Boogs definitely showing out. Tyler Bate showing out pretty well himself too, but wow, really good match.
A chop across the face. Tyler Bate with a submission move here on Rick Boogs. The referee checking out Rick Boogs, asking what he wants to do here. Boogs counters, takes him down to the canvas, gets back up. Tyler Bate catches a knee from Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs whips him to the ropes. A collision center ring. They lock up again. Rick Boogs front cradles him, but a counter into a DDT from Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate with the upper hand here, and what a potboiler it has been so far. Tyler Bate all the way up on the top far right turnbuckle. Here he comes. Oh! Rick Boogs quickly evading. Talking about Olay. Boogs all the way up on the top turnbuckle. Elbow drop right across the chest. Finds the mark. Bullseye. Rick Boogs with an elbow across the chest again to Tyler Bate. And now again the tides have turned oh so quickly as Rick Boogs, perhaps smelling blood in the water here. A kick to the midsection to Tyler Bate. Gets a hold of him in a pump handle. Rounds him up over the shoulder. Whoa! What a slam right there. Here's a pin. 1, 2,
Rick Boogs picks up an impressive win over Tyler Bate by pinfall. Let's get the official time from Aria Mitchell.
Here's the time, 6 minutes and 3 seconds. And you winner, Rick Boogs.
Well, guys, it's been a grand night for collecting much-needed wins. Sister Golden Hair picking up hers, and now Rick Boogs picking up one over Tyler Bate, but like I said, at about 175 pounds. Guess we could have kind of expected how that was going to turn out.
Indeed, Rick Boogs victorious over Tyler Bate, but it was an impressive matchup just the same.
Yes, it was.
When we return, more RWL action when RWL Rage continues.
Up next is hope they reinforce the ring time as the recently back and on fire Bruiser Brody gets his first high-profile singles match with Big John Studd. Ooh, this ought to get good quick.
This next Legends Division match, one fall, with a 15-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle from Santa Fe, New Mexico, weighing 312 pounds, Bruiser Brody.
You ain't kidding, Brody's been hot, Christy. Pistol hot. Picked up all of these wins ever since he showed up. He ain't dropped one yet. And get this, at Snarl, next show, he's gonna face Haku. Now that's gonna be a match I don't want to miss.
Certainly a battle of two of the toughest going. Bruiser Brody versus Haku on Snarl Tex. I'm sure you're going to have a great time calling that one.
You bet I will. Man, Bruiser Brody and Haku. Something to look forward to on Saturday.
His opponent from Los Angeles, California, weighing 386 pounds, Big John Studd.
Steve Groves keeps busy as a GM to Tex. Between he and Myron here, they put together some hot shows every week, and so far 2026 has been radioactive for both Rage and Snarl. You two guys keep the big shows humming. So, Big John Studd's been riding a run of good luck too. Only place he's fallen really is against Warlord Santos, and that's just par for the course for most folks. I think Studd could take Brody. He's just so damn big and built so sturdy. It's gonna be real tough for Brody to wear him down. I mean, Brody could do it, but it's gonna take a little patience.
Well, it certainly looks like Big John Studd is going to present Bruiser Brody's toughest challenge yet. Well, certainly his biggest. Referee Charles Lucero sounds the bell. They come center ring. They lock it up. Brody rounds him up front. Look at the power of Bruiser Brody. Hurls Big John Studd to center ring. He gets back up running. Kick takes Brody down to the mat. Brody shoves him back both boots quickly. Back up. Gathers up Big John Studd. A big knee to the midsection. Followed up with a stomp. Bruiser Brody countered by Big John Studd with a kick to the back of the knee. Goes behind. German release suplex. Bruiser Brody went flying. Big John Studd countered by Brody. Back up on his feet again. Brody with wrist clutch kicks to the head of Big John Studd, and now taking the big man down off his vertical base. Certainly a smart strategy as Brody works the arms of Big John Studd, ending it with a pair of knees into the back. And look at this, he's going to go for it again.
Worked the first time, why the hell not?
Bruiser Brody, certainly, as you say, spamming the move.
Exactly.
Big John Studd unable to do very much in that situation. Bruiser Brody rounds him up. I don't believe it.
You better believe it. Brody's not stupid. He knows that Big John Studd can't hurt him if he's in that shape. He's got those arms worked. And you can't hit hard if your arms hurt. Another pair of knees into the back, too.
Bruiser Brody with a blatant choke to Big John Studd, who has really not mounted a great deal of offense so far. Hard right takes Studd down to the canvas again. Bruiser Brody on the apron, on the top turnbuckle, double boots into the chest of Big John Studd. A rebound off the ropes and a jumping elbow to the same spot. Bruiser Brody countered by Big John Studd back up on his feet. Rebounds off the ropes. There's a splash. It does not find the mark. Brody finding his way out of the way. Running boot takes Studd right back down. Again, I don't believe it. What is going on with Bruiser Brody? A gouge to the face to Big John Studd. A rake to the back. He has certainly. Something is going on with Bruiser Brody.
Had his Wheaties this morning. That's what the hell happened to Bruiser Brody. Big John Studd really being taken to town here.
Man, Brody's just whipping the hell out of Studd. That don't happen. Big John Studd on the apron, being, just mauled by Bruiser Brody. He collapses towards center ring. Brody with a double leg drop to Big John Studd, now working on the legs as well as the arms. Studd counters a kick to the back of the knee to Bruiser Brody. Brody rounded up over the shoulder, but Brody with a little mumbo jumbo and a chop block to the knee takes Studd right back down to the mat again. Wrist clutch kicks to the ribs and a forearm to the side of the head. Another jumping elbow. Bruiser Brody just lighting up Big John Studd relentlessly. My goodness, unbelievable. Big John Studd with absolutely no answer for this brutal assault. Brody with a kick, a chop, another, and a spinning heel kick, taking Studd down to the mat again. And dead center ring with no ropes to get to. More wrist clutch kicks and more punishment to the arms of Big John Studd, courtesy of Bruiser Brody.
Man, this is like his best match since he's come back.
Brody with another choke to Big John Studd. Wow. Big John Studd. I've never seen him manhandled like this before. Right by the throat, but he counters with an elbow. Studd swings and misses with a right, swings and misses with another right. Brody whips him to the far left corner. And a set of running knees into the midsection of Big John Studd, and that's like a tree trunk. Surprised Brody isn't hurting his knees doing that. There's another stomp and another kick. And again, Big John Studd being kept off his vertical base by Bruiser Brody. There's a quick counter, another kick to the back of the knee of Brody. Studd has him up over the shoulders, hangs him up off the top rope. Bruiser Brody finally down on the canvas. Big John Studd ready to try and do something with a heel hook stretch to Bruiser Brody. Retaliating for, he's mad. He just hurled him halfway across the ring. There's a stomp to the arm. Big John Studd finally, with some life left in the system, all the way up as Bruiser Brody way in the middle of the air, and boom, face first into the canvas. Big John Studd rounds him up. There's a hard left to the body. Studd has Brody up all the way up for a long stalling vertical suplex. And he is holding him up there. 300 plus pounds of Bruiser Brody, and down he comes crashing. He counters with a kick to the head of Studd. Studd counters, gets a hold of Brody again. Brody, rather not go for the ride, counters with a shot to the body. And a hard right. Takes Studd down. Brody dragging Studd towards center ring. Wisely going for a pin here. 1, 2. Wow. Big John Studd, out of pure instinct somehow, getting out of that pin. A gouge of the face from Bruiser Brody. A wicked series of headbutts. A treble set of headbutts to Big John Studd. Studd still trying to battle back. He's got Brody in a front, and a fall-away slam to Bruiser Brody from Big John Studd, who's not done yet. An elbow to the midsection from Bruiser Brody. Studd misses the grapple. Brody gets a hold of him, gets the upper hand, has him up over the shoulder, walks him to the far left turnbuckle. Head first he goes. Big John Studd back in trouble again. Whoa. A headbutt from Studd and a stomp to the midsection to Brody. Brody with an elbow to the midsection. Oh, and a running spear takes Stud down to the canvas again. Here's another pin. 1, 2. Are you kidding? Oh, I really can't blame Brody for taking Charles Lucera to task on that count. It looked like a 3 to me. Whipped into the corner goes Stud again. Bruiser Brody gets a grip on him, whips him towards the corner. Oh, a running punch. Swing and a miss from Stud. A rebound off the ropes and another spear from Bruiser Brody. Sensing perhaps the end might be near for Big John Stud. He gets a hold of him, turns him around, has him up over the shoulder. Oh! A GTS, a knee to the skull. Brody covers and hooks the leg here. 1, 2, 3. He put Big John Stud's lights out. Bruiser Brody picking up the win by a 3-count pinfall.
Here is the time, 7 minutes and 48 seconds, and your winner, Bruiser Brody.
You just about called it, Christy. It took Bruiser Brody almost 8 minutes to wear down Big John Stud, but he did it, and Big John Stud didn't have a whole lot of answer back, did he?
He sure as hell didn't. Bruiser Brody just exploding out of the gate. What a performance. He continues to impress in his recent return.
He sure as hell does, Dandy Don. Well, Bruiser Brody just seems to get better every time we see him. All right, folks, that's another one down in the books. Stick around, because there's more RWL Rage on the way. We'll be right back on the other side of the break.
Up next, Legends Division Tag action with the Legends TV Tag Champion Sergeant Slaughter and the Patriot in non-title competition against the Excellence of Execution, Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, the Harts picked up a win in their last match, so they've got this non-title against the Legends TV Tag Champions. And well, we'll see, maybe if they're worthy enough, they might get a title match against Sergeant the Patriot at some point. Remains to be seen.
Oh man, Houston, we have a problem.
I think someone's a little early for their cue.
Oh, the Hart Foundation.
Hang on a minute, Dandy Don. Look at this. Sergeant the Patriot bum rushing the show. The Hart Foundation getting a little bit of a surprise here. Well, I guess this match is now underway. Sergeant Slaughter just opens up on the anvil. I guess these are your partners. Go ahead, Don.
Thank you. Sergeant Slaughter with a Cobra clutch on Jim the Anvil Neidhart, but the referee ordering the rope break and ordering the Patriot back to his corner. An elbow to the midsection from Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Neidhart with a blow to the chest of the Sarge. The Anvil countered by Sergeant Slaughter. Double shot to the midsection. Sergeant Slaughter has the Anvil up over the shoulder. The Anvil counters, misses with the throat chop. Sergeant Slaughter whips him to the far right corner. Sergeant Slaughter catching an elbow from the Anvil. Ducking the Anvil. Another double shot to the midsection. The Sarge with a snap suplex to Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And well, here we go. Now the match is officially underway. Here we go. Snap suplex from the Sarge. Jim the Anvil Neidhart rounded up again by Sergeant Slaughter. And there's an arm snap. Parlayed into an armbar. Bret the Hitman Hart looking on. Not really much he could do about it. Sergeant Slaughter asserting himself in the early goings here. Changes his mind. He was going to go tag and delivers a spike stomp to the Anvil as the Patriot steps in and takes over.
Wow, Sarge is in bad mood tonight. I wonder why.
The Patriot with elbows to the side of the head of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, turning it over to Sergeant Slaughter again. Bret the Hitman Hart in his first action of the match, taking Sergeant Slaughter down center ring and immediately wasting no time going for the sharpshooter, trying to put this one to bed early. The referee checking on Sergeant Slaughter, but Sarge finding himself in an impossible position to get out of it. A hard right to the Hitman. Bret Hart counters with a kick to the midsection. Sarge counters with a kick. Gets a hold of the Hitman. Whips him over the top rope out onto the floor.
Whoa, I wonder what's eating Sarge.
Sergeant Slaughter on the outside going after Bret the Hitman Hart. Sends him backwards and tags him with a shot to the chest. Sergeant Slaughter winds up the arms and throws the switch on Bret the Hitman Hart. Sarge and the Patriot coming out here real aggressive, not even waiting for their turn. Bret the Hitman Hart figuring out what to do next. Finally making his way back inside the ring. Counters Sarge with an elbow. Sarge counters him. Double shot to the midsection. The Hitman escorted towards the ropes. Head first into the turnbuckle. Bret Hart counters with an elbow to Sergeant Slaughter. Sarge goes behind rear waist lock and a German release suplex to the Hitman. Hart quickly back up, but Sarge right there waiting for him. Snap suplex. Bret the Hitman Hart looking to tag, but no dice. Sarge not allowing it. Bret the Hitman Hart counters with elbows to the midsection of the Sarge. Tags him with a right. Sarge counters with a kick. Gets a hold of the Hitman again. Goes behind. Another suplex. This time with a pin. Long. Oh. Wow. Sergeant Slaughter super aggressive today. Sarge winds him up. Cobra clutch time. Could be the end right here. Bret the Hitman Hart with no means of egress. Sarge cinching it in pretty good. But the Hitman with elbows to the face of Sergeant Slaughter back up on his feet. The Hitman countered quickly again by the Sarge. Belly to belly suplex from Sergeant Slaughter. Sarge rounds up the Hitman again for a second. Belly to belly. Wow. Sergeant Slaughter beating it out of town, turns it over to the Patriot. The ref sees the tag. Bret the Hitman Hart motionless. And the Patriot, sensing that victory could be at hand here, waiting on Bret the Hitman. The Hitman counters with elbows. The Patriot countered again by the Hitman. The excellence of execution, giving back as good as he gets, but belly-to-belly suplex again, this time from the Patriot. Followed up with a stomp to the arm. The Legends Tag Champions absolutely on fire here in this matchup against the Hart Foundation. The Patriot slams Bret the Hitman Hart into the corner, tags him with a set of right hands. Followed up with elbows to the side of the head. Down goes Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret rounded up again. Kick to the midsection and a DDT from the Patriot. The Hitman absolutely with no answer here. Up over the shoulder, but quickly counters. There's a chop block to the back of the knee of the Patriot. And Bret the Hitman Hart wisely tagging in Jim the Anvil Neidhart. The Anvil catches an elbow to the face from the Patriot. Tags the Patriot with the right, goes behind on him. Rear waist lock has him up, but the Patriot shifts his weight and counters the Anvil. How about this? The Patriot rounds him up over the shoulder, flips him over, reverse dominator, slamming him face first into the canvas. The Patriot goes behind. Whoa! F. Nelson slam from the Patriot. Jim the Anvil Neidhart absolutely offering no resistance as the Patriot drags him close to center ring. Goes for the cover and hooks the leg. 1, 2, but Bret the Hitman Hart saves the match for his team. The Patriot drives a knee into the back of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, turns his attention to Bret the Hitman Hart, gets a hold of him, whips him over the top rope out onto the floor. The Patriot tags in the Sarge again. The Anvil back up on his feet. A right, a left, a chop across the chest for Sergeant Slaughter. Sarge puts on the brakes on the Anvil. There's a headbutt. Sarge goes behind on him, tries for the Cobra Clutch, but drives a knee into the back instead. Sarge rounds him up, spins him around with a hard right, and there it is, the Cobra Clutch. One more time, this time on the Anvil. That's it. The ref is ringing the bell. This one's all over. Sarge and the Patriot picking up a quick and dirty win over the Hart Foundation by submission. Well, with Aria Mitchell caught off guard here, this one clocked in at 6 minutes and 48 seconds. Sergeant Slaughter picking up the submission win with the Cobra clutch on Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation, without much of an answer for the Legends TV Tag Champ Sergeant the Patriot.
I don't understand why they just rushed out and did that. It's not like them. I wonder what that was all about.
I've got no idea, but I will tell you this. The Hart Foundation isn't likely to let it go unanswered, especially Bret the Hitman Hart. He's going to be salty as hell about that. We'll be back with more RWL Rage in just a minute.
Hey gang, we're just about to close out the first half of tonight's Rage with an even bigger second half already standing by. So Tex is gonna leave us to get to the business he's gonna have in the second half. Best of luck to you and the Texas Hangman. You think they're gonna handle the Canadian cartel okay and everything?
Well, Miss Ogilvy, that is a silly question to ask. Killer and Psycho are primed and ready to go, and I guarantee you they are going to mess up the Canadian cartel. Golden Al Barnett and Vic LaRue ain't gonna know what hit them. Well, thanks so much, guys. I will see you next time, and hey, tune in for Snarl on Saturday, too.
Hey, and tell Danielle we wish her good luck in the 6-woman tag tonight against those sectarian gals.
I will do that, Myron. I will do that. I'm kind of concerned about that one myself. All right, guys. Peace out. All right, Tex. Thanks so much. And we close out the first half tonight. Ladies tag. Cherie Roy, the Queen of the Black Garden, and Autumn Breeze back again with us tonight to face Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark.
This next ladies tag match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Approaching the ring, first from Altoona, Pennsylvania, Autumn Breeze, and from the Twin Cities, the Queen of the Black Garden, Sherry Roy. Together they are vicious and delicious.
So guys, our ladies tag team division is always hopping, but it's been even more so since Las Reinas snagged the women's world tag titles from Power and Beauty. It's like this massive shakeup happened, and all the ladies teams seem to have an eye for not just Las Reinas, but Les Femmes Fatales too. And as former women's world tag champs themselves, Sherry and Autumn are on the bandwagon now too. They lost their last one to Kaden and Katana, and they're looking for a win over Shayna and Zoe, but they're gonna get a fight that comes with the package. Baszler and Stark are the real deal, no bull ring smart ladies, and they'd love to get a win over former tag champs.
Their opponents, the team of Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark.
Nothing fancy about these two, and they've been all business since they got to RWL.
Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Certainly a what you see is what you get pairing. And they are skilled ring generals. It'll be a great matchup between them and Vicious and Delicious. Minnesota native Cherie Roy starting off against Shayna Baszler in this matchup as Charles Lacera sounds the bell, and here we go. Shayna Baszler connects with a left, goes behind on Cherie Roy, German suplex. Shayna Baszler moving in on Roy, almost kind of connects with a kick, but connects with a forearm, puts Cherie Roy into a corner. Autumn Breeze with a cheap shot, but catches an enziguri and winds up on the floor. Cherie Roy catches a kick to the midsection from Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler quickly countered, but Shayna Baszler equally quickly countering. So does Cherie Roy with an elbow to the face. They lock up. Cherie Roy with a cravat suplex to Shayna Baszler. And in comes Autumn Breeze on the tag with her new hairdo. She looks terrific. Autumn Breeze whipped to the ropes. Shayna Baszler ducks under, leapfrogs, and whoa! One-armed suplex from Shayna Baszler. Autumn Breeze counters with a kick. Shayna Baszler counters with elbows to Autumn Breeze. Autumn Breeze taken down by Shayna Baszler. Mounted punches, hard rights and lefts, right to the head. Autumn Breeze turned over. There's a stomp to the leg from Shayna Baszler. Baszler moves in. Here comes Zoe Stark. Autumn Breeze walks up, whips Zoe Stark to the ropes, has her up, knocks her down with a hard right. So begins the battle of the winter wheat blondes, if you will. Hard right hands from Autumn Breeze, who turns it over to Cherie Roy. Zoe Stark walks it up. The Queen of the Black Garden whips her to the ropes. Hitch and sink knee to the midsection. So Zoe Stark followed up with a stomp to the head. Cherie Roy tags in Autumn Breeze. Zoe Stark up to one knee. A rebound off the ropes and a flying forearm to Zoe Stark. A quick rebound off the ropes again and a kick right to the side of the head of Zoe Stark. Autumn Breeze covers. One. Barely. Just about a one. Autumn Breeze returning to work here. Hard left hands to the head of Zoe Stark, followed up with a stomp. Zoe Stark gathered up. Quick counter. Nice hip toss from Zoe Stark. There's a kick. A counter from Autumn Breeze. And right back to work, putting the boots to Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark counters, slams Autumn Breeze into the canvas. Autumn Breeze catches a shoulder from Zoe Stark and a stomp to the midsection. Autumn Breeze counters, slams Zoe Stark to the mat. Stark counters with elbows to Autumn Breeze. Autumn Breeze, whoa, caught with a suplex by Zoe Stark. And so the momentum begins to shift back and forth between the two teams. Autumn Breeze whipped into the opposing team's corner. Head first into the turnbuckle. Zoe Stark countered with an elbow to the face, a hard right. A counter from Zoe Stark, a hard right to Autumn Breeze up against the ropes. A chop across the chest. The leg draped over the middle rope and tugged by Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark goes behind on Autumn Breeze. Another suplex that sends Autumn Breeze rolling. She is trying to crawl to her corner and get a tag to Cherie Roy, but no good. Quickly stopped and slammed face first into the mat. Here comes Shayna Baszler, who will take over on Autumn Breeze. A stomp to the leg, another. A quick pin attempt, one. But only again, just the one. Shayna Baszler misses with the stomp. Autumn Breeze misses with the running kick. Counters with a kick to the midsection. Shayna Baszler being escorted to the opposing team's corner. Head first into the turnbuckle. Shayna Baszler in the corner as Cherie Roy takes over. Hard punch to the ribs. The Queen of the Black Garden ducks Shayna Baszler. Baszler locks her up, winds up the arm, up, boot right to the point of the jaw. That can knock a person out. Shayna Baszler turning it over to Zoe Stark as Cherie Roy rolls to the outside for a moment. She is definitely stunned. That boot to the chin definitely stunned her. A clothesline from Zoe Stark, who turns her attention to Autumn Breeze, gets hung up on the top rope and catches an elbow from Cherie Roy. Beautiful teamwork in the corner from Vicious and Delicious. Little wonder they are former women's tag team champions. There's a stomp to the arm of Zoe Stark. Cherie Roy gathers up Zoe Stark for a belly-to-belly suplex. Autumn Breeze brought in on the tag. Zoe Stark catches a kick from Autumn. Autumn whips Stark to the ropes. Here she comes. Autumn Breeze ducks under. A collision was no result but a knee right to the head to Zoe Stark from Autumn Breeze. Autumn rounds her up. Zoe Stark ducks out of the way, counters with a hip toss. Follows it up with a knee. Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler again, a no-nonsense tag team, all about the wrestling, not about the superficial stuff. Shayna Baszler brought in on the tag. Autumn Breeze laid out near the far right corner, stomp to the midsection from Shayna Baszler. Baszler with a stomp to the arm of Autumn Breeze, a stomp to the midsection. Shayna Baszler putting the boots to Autumn Breeze. And Autumn Breeze is in big trouble. Rolls to a standing position. A clothesline takes Shayna Baszler over the top rope out onto the floor. Autumn Breeze turns her attention to Zoe Stark. and is paying her back for all her interference so far with a set of punches to the chest. As Shayna Baszler finally reaches a standing position on the outside, and whoa! Autumn Breeze caught her off guard through the ropes, took her down with a flying clothesline.
That was amazing.
Autumn Breeze usually is amazing. Shayna Baszler counters with both boots to the chest of Autumn Breeze. On the outside, oh! Thrown into the ring steps by Shayna Baszler. Referee Charles Lacerra counting. Autumn Breeze shaking off the momentary stun. Shayna Baszler trash-talking Cherie Roy. A right to Autumn Breeze back in the ring now. Misses again with the running kick. Shayna Baszler rounds her up, winds up the arm, slams her down to the cat. Whoa! And there's a stomp to the arm. Wow. That was fast. Shayna Baszler. Hard lefts to the side of the head of Autumn Breeze. A couple of more. Wow. Shayna Baszler in control here, and again the momentum has shifted to her team. Baszler and Stark not doing too badly for themselves at all against the former Women's World Tag Team Champions. A kick to the head from Autumn Breeze. Autumn. Looks like she's going to slow down the pace a little bit here. Wrist clutch kicks. Now Shayna Baszler taken down near the opposing team's corner as Autumn Breeze winds up the arm, drives both knees into the back of Shayna Baszler. Baszler gathered up again by Autumn Breeze, escorted to the corner, headfirst into the turnbuckle. Here comes Cherie Roy, and a double team to Shayna Baszler, who is whipped into the ropes, catches a back body drop as Cherie Roy takes over. Ooh, a shoulder takes Zoe Stark out to the floor. Cherie Roy joins them both on the other side of the ring. On their side of the ring, rather. From behind, German suplex to Shayna Baszler. Zoe Stark still laid out. A stomp to the back of the head from Cherie Roy. A knee driven into the head of Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler in big trouble on the outside. The referee already counting. Oh, Cherie Roy misses with the knee, but counters Shayna Baszler in spite of it. Wow. Shayna Baszler rolled back inside the ring. The Queen of the Black Garden turning her attention to Zoe Stark for a moment here, goes behind on her and drives her into the barricade. The referee continuing to count as Shayna Baszler takes down Autumn Breeze on the outside. Cherie Roy finally makes her way back in. Zoe Stark charges. There's a flying punch. Cherie Roy trying to get back to a standing position, but Shayna Baszler right there. There's a forearm that takes her down to the canvas. And again, mounted punches from Shayna Baszler to Cherie Roy. Extremely aggressive. Cherie Roy quickly rolls to the outside. Shayna Baszler joins her. A little game of musical ropes here between the two. Cherie Roy rallying the fans here as she takes the long way around. And again, Autumn Breeze taken out by Shayna Baszler. Cherie Roy whipped to the ropes by Baszler. Ducks under. The drop kick doesn't find the mark, but a clothesline from Cherie Roy does. Cherie Roy preventing the tag here. Locks up Shayna Baszler. Nice suplex. And a stomp to the back of the head. Cherie Roy with a flip over neck whip to Shayna Baszler. Baszler in big time trouble here. The Queen of the Black Garden really starting to open up. Snap suplex. She turns her attention to Zoe Stark. There's a right and there's a drop kick that takes Zoe Stark out to the floor as the Queen of the Black Garden takes herself to the top turnbuckle. Here Shayna Baszler laid out, elbow right across the chest. Wow. Here's another pin attempt. One. Again, only a one. We haven't gotten close to a near fall halfway through this match. Cherie Roy gathers up Shayna Baszler, escorts her to her team's corner. Head first into the turnbuckle. Autumn Breeze brought in on the tag. Shayna Baszler again with another back body drop as Autumn Breeze takes over. Shayna Baszler back to a standing position. Autumn Breeze winds up the arm, but Shayna Baszler counters with a forearm. Autumn Breeze counters with a kick.
Rebounds off the middle rope, a kick right to the face of Shayna Baszler. And Cherie Roy and Zoe Stark getting into it on the outside, just outside of camera range. Autumn Breeze working on Shayna Baszler in the center of the ring. And again, slowing down the pace here and wearing out the arms of Shayna Baszler in the process. Again, Cherie Roy and Zoe Stark duking it out on the outside of our camera range. You can see it just to the left of your screen. Zoe Stark has just been laid out by Cherie Roy. Autumn Breeze with a stomp to the gut of Shayna Baszler. Breeze takes herself to the top turnbuckle. Shayna Baszler to a standing position here. A flying punch takes Shayna Baszler down center ring. Cherie Roy comes in on the tag. Shayna Baszler unable to make the tag. Zoe Stark desperate to get one, but no dice. Cherie Roy rounds her up. Shayna Baszler counters with a kick. Takes down Cherie Roy. Cherie Roy on the mat catches a stomp from Shayna Baszler, who is going to wisely beat it out of town and turn it over to Zoe Stark. Stark moves in. Cherie Roy counters with a kick to the midsection, locks up Zoe Stark, gets a hold of her, cravat suplex from the Queen of the Black Garden. Minnesota native Cherie Roy moves in on Zoe Stark, sets her up on the top turnbuckle, tags her with the right hand. This is going to be bad for Zoe Stark as she takes herself all the way. Whoa, a suplex off the top turnbuckle. Zoe Stark is definitely gone. Here's a pin. 1, 2, 3. Yep, you can just forget about it. Vicious and Delicious picking up the win over Baszler and Stark.
Here's the time, 14 minutes and 16 seconds. And your winners, Vicious and Delicious.
And so there you have it, Cherie Roy and Autumn Breeze picking themselves up a win over Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. A great matchup, to be sure. A nice long one between two very talented ladies tag teams. But a terrific outcome for Cherie Roy and Autumn Breeze. Perhaps not so much for Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, who I'm sure will live to fight again another day. That takes care of the first half of tonight's RWL Rage. Stay tuned, fans. The second half. 3 huge matches you are not going to want to miss.